Happiness and peace are universal desires, yet in a world constantly moving towards material success and external validation, true contentment often seems elusive. For centuries, the Buddhist teachings have provided guidance on how to cultivate lasting happiness, which lies not in the acquisition of wealth or status, but in the state of our mind and heart. Through 7 profound principles, the Buddha invites us to unlock the deep well of peace within ourselves. In this video, we delve into these principles, explore their transformative power, and reflect on how they can enrich our lives. As you listen, you might realize that happiness isn't something that comes from external circumstances. It's something that we cultivate within ourselves. The following principles, though simple, are deeply transformative and have the potential to change the way we perceive the world, ourselves, and our relationships with others. Principle 1. Live in the present. The Buddha's wisdom begins with the present moment. Often we find ourselves consumed by thoughts of the past or anxieties about the future. The Buddha, however, reminds us that happiness exists in the here and now. In his words, "Do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on the present moment." Story: a young monk's realization. Once, a young monk was deeply troubled by his past mistakes and the uncertainties of the future. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't escape these worries. One day, his teacher took him outside to look at a tree. The teacher said, "See how the tree stands tall, rooted deeply in the earth? It does not worry about the past or the future. It simply stands here in the present." The monk, after reflecting on the teacher's words, realized that peace could only be found in focusing on the present moment. He stopped dwelling on what had already happened and what might happen. The monk found peace by living in the here and now. This principle teaches us that by letting go of the past and future, we make space for peace and joy in the present moment. It is in the present that life unfolds, and if we are not fully aware of it, we miss out on the richness of experience. Principle 2. Practice compassion. Compassion is one of the Buddha's most essential teachings. It's about understanding the suffering of others and offering kindness without expectation of anything in return. By practicing compassion, not only do we help alleviate others' pain, but we also create deeper connections with ourselves and the world. Story: a monk's lesson in compassion. A young monk, troubled by his past and future, sought solace in his teacher. The teacher, observing the monk's inner turmoil, told him to go outside and reflect on the tree. The teacher explained that the tree stood strong, rooted in the earth, fully present and unaffected by external factors. The monk began to understand that by helping others, showing compassion to others, we find peace within ourselves. Compassion, therefore, is not only a gift to others but also to ourselves. Through compassion, we come to understand that helping others brings immense joy to our hearts. Buddha taught us that kindness toward others cultivates a sense of connection and satisfaction within ourselves. Principle 3. Embrace simplicity. In a world where success is often measured by material wealth and possessions, the Buddha teaches us that true happiness comes from simplicity. The more we desire, the more we suffer. The Buddha said, "The root of suffering is attachment." Story: a rich man's search for fulfillment. There was once a man who, no matter how much wealth he accumulated, was never satisfied. He felt an ever-growing void inside, and no material possession seemed to fill it. One day he met an elder who taught him an important lesson. The elder said, "Imagine you are holding a handful of sand. The tighter you grip it, the more it slips away." The man realized that his constant attachment to material wealth was preventing him from experiencing true happiness. By letting go of his desires and attachments, he discovered peace. This principle teaches us that fulfillment doesn't come from accumulating more. True contentment comes from needing less, from appreciating the simplicity of what we already have. When we learn to live with less, we find peace and satisfaction in the little things. Principle 4. Detach from desire. Desire, if left unchecked, can become a source of endless suffering. The Buddha taught that by releasing attachments and desires, we free ourselves from the constant roller coaster of wanting. The more we chase our desires, the further happiness seems to slip away. Story: a man's obsession with wealth. There was a man who was obsessed with acquiring wealth. No matter how much money he made, he always felt unfulfilled and empty inside. He visited a wise elder who told him a story to help him understand. Imagine you are holding a handful of sand. The tighter you grip, the more it slips away. The man suddenly realized that his obsession with wealth was only pushing happiness further out of reach. When he began to detach from his desires, he discovered a sense of calm and peace that he had never known before. By learning to detach from fleeting desires, we can discover a calm, peaceful heart. The more we cling to external wants, the more we suffer. The key to peace lies in releasing attachments to the impermanent. Principle 5. Cultivate gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful tool for transforming our mindset. The Buddha taught that by appreciating the small blessings in life, we shift our focus from what we lack to what we already have. Even in difficult times, there is always something to be thankful for. Story: a young monk's reflection on gratitude. A young monk, feeling disheartened by his struggles, went to his teacher. The teacher shared a simple yet profound lesson. Let us rise up and be thankful. If we didn't learn much today, at least we learned a little. If we didn't learn, at least we weren't sick. And if we were sick, at least we didn't die. The monk, reflecting on these words, realized that even in the hardest of times, there is always something to be thankful for. Gratitude helps us shift our focus from scarcity to abundance. It allows us to see the beauty and blessings in every moment. Through gratitude, we bring more happiness into our lives, appreciating what we have rather than what we don't. Principle 6. Meditate daily. Meditation is one of the most transformative practices in Buddhism. It is through meditation that we quiet the mind, letting go of distractions and finding stillness. This space allows us to experience clarity and peace, creating a deeper connection with ourselves. Story: the monk's journey to inner peace. A young monk approached his teacher and asked, "How do I find peace?" The teacher replied simply, "Sit still, quiet your mind, and listen." The monk began to meditate daily, and with time he discovered that his mind became calm, like a serene lake undisturbed by the storms of life. Through meditation he experienced deep peace, clarity, and wisdom. Meditation isn't just about stillness. It is about creating space for clarity and wisdom to emerge. By dedicating just a few minutes each day to quiet reflection, we bring peace and balance to our lives. Principle 7. Follow the middle way. The middle way is the Buddhist teaching of balance and moderation. He cautioned against extreme behaviors, whether indulgence or austerity, as they lead to suffering. True happiness, the Buddha taught, is found in balance. Story: a monk's search for balance. A monk once sought a path of extreme austerity, believing that renouncing all pleasure would lead to enlightenment. However, after years of hardship, he realized that his extreme approach only brought suffering. He then turned to a life of moderation, embracing the middle way. By living in balance, the monk found lasting peace and contentment. The middle way is the path of moderation. It teaches us that lasting happiness lies not in extremes but in living a balanced, harmonious life. When we avoid indulgence and austerity, we unlock the true essence of happiness. These 7 teachings of the Buddha provide a roadmap to lasting happiness. By living in the present, practicing compassion, embracing simplicity, detaching from desires, cultivating gratitude, meditating daily, and following the middle way, we unlock the deep well of peace and joy that lies within us. Happiness is not something to be found outside of ourselves, but a state of mind that we create through our actions, thoughts, and attitudes. As we reflect on these principles, we realize that true happiness comes from within. By integrating these teachings into our lives, we not only transform ourselves but also our relationships with others and the world around us. May these teachings inspire you to live a life of peace, contentment, and lasting happiness.